Hi everyone. We're going to write an equation in standard form for each parabola. You're given the vertex and a point. Now, what you need to know on here are the basic 4 standard forms of the equation. Actually 8, because some of them go left and right, up and down. But basically, this one, since it's opening to the right and the vertex is at 0, 0, we have y squared equals 4ax. So that's your standard form of the equation. Now all we have to do is figure out a. So all I'm going to do is plug in this point that's been given to me on the parabola. So I plug in my x and my y. My y is 4. And my x, I'm going to go ahead and put the x here. Put the a outside here. My x is 2. So I get 16 equals 8a. So a equals 2. Because 2 times 8, you divide both sides by 8. 2 times 8 is 16. So basically, I'm just plugging 2 into there. My a, so I get y squared equals 8x. And that's your standard form. Okay, so if you know your standard form of equations, this is pretty easy. All right, here we have the vertex that opens to the right again, so it's almost the same form as we had before, but in this case our vertex is at 2, 2. So my standard form, I'm going to put the y here, equals 4a x minus h squared. Okay, now I plug in all my information. I have y minus 2 squared equals 4a x minus 2 squared. And then all I'm going to do now is plug in my point that is on the curve, which is my x, y, and plug that in. My y is 6, and I'm going to solve for a. My x is 4. So I get 4 squared is 16 equals 4a. 2 squared is 4. So we get 16 equals 16a. So a is 1. And all I'm going to do is take this 1 and plug it back in to this equation here. So my final equation is y minus 2 squared equals 4, because 4 times 1 is 4, x times x minus 2 squared. Or just, it's not squared here, sorry. I don't know why I did that. Okay, and there's your equation. Okay? Okay, the next one we have one that's opening right. So that's going to be x squared equals 4ay, because it opens up and my vertex is at 0, 0. Now I'm just going to plug in my 4 and 2. So that's 4 squared equals 8y. So similar to the one we had before. So 16 equals 8. Well, it's not y, it's a. So we have 8a. So 2 equals a. Now, plug in your 2 here. And you get x squared equals 8y. And that's your standard form. All right. Now this one opens down. So your standard form for this is the same as before. Oh, my center is a little different. So I'm going to put the HK in there. Equals, and you can have negative 4a times y minus k squared. Now we can just plug everything in. My x is -1, so this is going to be x minus a -1 equals -4a y minus 0, which is just y. So that's just be y squared. So again, will be x plus 1 squared equals -4ay squared. Now we're going to take this point and plug it in. My x is 3, so I get 3 plus 1 squared equals -4. And I'm going to go ahead and put the y first. Y is -2 squared times a. So 4 squared is 16 equals, and this is going to be this is 4, -16a. So a is -1. And basically it's just going to be 1. So you plug that in and you're going to get x plus 1 squared equals -4 y squared. Y squared. Let me put that in green. Now in this case we had a is -1, and what I probably should have done is just let this be positive because we don't know the equation yet. And then we would have gotten the a is -1, and you would have plugged this in and got your equation here. Okay. All right, in this case, it opens to the left. So they give you this point, and I just drew it. So what I'm going to do is write x squared equals 4a, which actually y squared equals 4ax. All right. And now we're going to plug in our point. So we have 4 squared equals 4a times -2. So 16 equals -8a. So a is -2. Plug that in here to this, and you get y squared equals -8x. And that's why it's opening up to the left. This one opens down, so that means x starts first. So it's going to be x squared equals 4ay. Plug in your 2 and -1. So 2 squared equals -4a. So a is -1. And because you're dividing 4 by -4, so plug this back in, and you get x squared equals -4 y. And this is the last one. Opens up, and we have different vertex, so that's going to be y. It opens up, so it's going to be x minus your h, which is 1, squared equals 4a y plus 2 squared. So I used the 1 here and the 2 here. Now I'm going to plug in my point and find my a, and then I'll be almost done. So I have 3 minus 1 squared equals 4a times -1 plus 2 squared. And you're going to get 2 squared equals 4a times 1 squared, which just gives you 4a equals 4. Well, let me write it the other way. So 4 equals 4a. So a is 1. So basically it's just this equation, but a is 1. So the equation is going to be x minus 1 squared equals 4 times y plus 2, not squared. So it shouldn't be squared. And that is your equation. Thank you and have a nice day.